y'all, it's Belle. Today I'm going to talk about some indie published books. So these aren't all the ones I've received or read, but I just went through my shelves and picked some out that I wanted to share with y'all. Okay, let's get started. First I'm going to talk about some that I've already talked about in other videos. So I'm only going to show like the first book because they're series. You can go back to the other videos if you want to know more about them. I'm just going to show the first book. It's The Stuck in Time. There's 3 books currently out. And this is by Dave Johnson. And each book they go back to a different time. The first book they go back to the 1940s, World War II. And in each book each sibling gets this certain ability. And so it's also great to see how each sibling, their take on that ability and what they do with it and how they react. And the siblings are also different and written so relatable, and it's just so great. And it's such adventure and atmospheric. You really feel like you're back where they are. And their uncle's amazing. So I really love this series and recommend it. And we have Through the Fairy Door series, which really matches, by Estelle Grace Tudor. There are 5 books in this series. The 5th and last book just came out, and I'm waiting on my copy to get here actually. I ordered it a few days ago. And each book is from a different child in the Bloom family's point of view. So the first one is Octavia Bloom's point of view. And they go through this fairy door to fairyland, and it's just so magical. It's like a warm hug, I've said before, and they're just so heartwarming, and I just really love them. I think kids would really love this. I would have loved this as a little girl and playing pretend. They're book hug books, so I highly recommend. We have the Ghost Hunters series by Susan McCauley. It's another one I've talked about. There's 3 books currently out, and I think she's working on the 4th now. Full of mystery, danger and suspense, humor, friendship, ghost, of course. Just so much detailing and atmosphere. Like I said, each book has a new case or mystery they have to deal with. They all work together. It's just the great characters. And then as you get on, there's a ghost cat. That's amazing. There's an older lady that's a ghost. I love her. There's just I love these books. I'm so excited. I can't wait for the next one to come out. And the last one that I have talked about before in other videos, I think this was my favorite series, the longer series video, is the Elena Ransom series by J.S. Wood. These are amazing. Obviously, they're my favorite series of all time video. But each book is another year of Elena's life. So each book she's a year older. She starts out turning 13 in the first book, and it's law that they have to go to this school once they turn 13, and she does not want to go. But she does, and it makes her better. Like, her character development and growth throughout these books is phenomenal. It's like the perfect pace. It's a relatable pace, a realistic pace I should say. It's believable. She doesn't just grow overnight. Like, it takes time, and I see a lot of myself in her, and I think that's why sometimes I would get irritated by her, but then I'm like, oh, hello mirror, let's look into it. But it's so great. The friendship and found family that develops between these kids is next level, and so much adventure and action and danger, and the backstory of all the kids in this alternate world, and the domes, and them scanning their wrists, and the technology that they have. So good. And then the epilogue of each book is also so fascinating just on its own. You get clues and even more backstory of what has happened. Each one's like a certain character. You learn more about them, and it's like, oh, and it's so brilliant the way she does it. And it's like I said, it's kind of like Harry Potter, where my mind was like blown away how everything comes together and wraps around, and how she was able to sprinkle it throughout the books and make it all come together and make sense and just blow your mind. Phenomenal. I think there's going to be 6 books, and I cannot wait for the 5th book. There's 4 books out right now, and I need that 5th book, especially after the way the 4th book ended. So I highly recommend. So now that we've talked about the independently published ones that I've talked about previously, we can go on to the rest. A Journey to Zentobia, cover, by Stacey D'Alessandro. I actually bought this one myself. I found it on Amazon and thought it sounded amazing. And the author actually just released the sequel, Return to Zentobia, and I cannot wait to read that. She's reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in reading and reviewing it, and I loved this one, so of course I said yes. So I'll be reading that soon. But the synopsis, I had a comment, so I wanted to address that. I had mentioned it in my first video, but I didn't want to show my face, and apparently that drives some people crazy that they can't see my face, which it's kind of weird to me that it would drive you crazy, but whatever. This is a book channel. This isn't me channel, so I mean it is a me channel, but this is about the books, and I don't like to say never, so I'm not gonna say I'll never show my face, but right now I just don't want to. I have personal reasons that I don't want to, plus I suffer from depression, and the idea of spending so much time editing, looking at my face for so long does not sound great to me. This is even hard, listening to my voice. So that's that. And I also talked about I'm horrible at summarizing unless I've read it and read it recently. If I've read it recently, then usually I can summarize it okay, maybe, but I am horrible. Me trying to even summarize a movie, it's like a nightmare. I'm horrible at it. So that's why I read the synopsis. So sorry if that's not good either, but people who like it will like it, and those that don't have to watch. They also said I'd get more views if I showed my face, and I don't care about that. I'm not one of those people that's gonna do anything for views. And I did mention on my Bookstagram I was gonna start this because once I got to where you can make a little money on it, if I made $50 or $100 a month, that would be enough for me, just to help out with the book expenses that I do, because it would all go to books. But also, I know a lot of people don't have Instagram, so this is another platform to show middle grade love and just get more love for it out there. So that would be the only reason I would care about the views, just to reach more people with the middle grade. But like I said, I'm not gonna show my face just to get views. Anyway, I'll read the synopsis of this now. Danger lurks in Zentobia. When the Miller family moves to the small town of Halesville, 10-year-old Maggie and her 13-year-old brother Peter discover their neighbor comes from a magical world, Zentobia. After the amateur detectives try to help him get home, they're swept through a rainbow portal and end up in his world on their own. In Zentobia, Maggie and Peter embark on an action-packed fantasy adventure where they encounter orange rain, cascade down floating waterfalls, and chat with talking animals. Before long, they learn danger lurks in Zentobia, where all magic has been banished. Maggie is captured by an evil leader who wants to bring back dark magic. Help is on the way from Peter and their dad, who team up with Zentobia's good leader. But once they reach Maggie, more trouble emerges. The rainbow, this other world, the danger that it talks about is also great. So much adventure. The brother and sister, I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to dive back into this world soon. We have Jack versus a Tornado, and then The Hunt for Fang. These are by Amanda Cleary Eastep. The author reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in reading and reviewing. And they sounded so fun and cute and great, so I said yes. And they're based in the 90s, which I love. Like, I'm an 80s baby, but I was still young in the 90s, so I love it. Anything 80s and 90s, I am here for. And these have a more faith-based writing, but she does it so seamlessly to where it's not an in-your-face, like, push of God and stuff, which I wouldn't mind because I'm a Christian, but I just love that. And even if you're not, I don't think it would bother you because, like I said, it's not in your face. She doesn't push it. It's just woven into the story effortlessly. Being a kid in the 1990s can be an epic battle. Good thing the Tree Street kids have big friendships and an even bigger God. When your parents make your family move, it can really rock your world. So when Jack Finch has to move to Chicago's suburbs, he devises a plan to get himself back to his beloved farmhouse forever. Only 3 things stand in his way: a neighbor in need, a shocking discovery, and tornado season. Will Jack find a solution, or is God up to something bigger than Jack can possibly imagine? Moving, kids will relate to that, not wanting to. And there's facts all throughout here, so you learn too, and I always love that. I think there'll be like a little fact from one of them. Also incredible illustrations. I think she's working on the 3rd book now, and I can't wait. So I really recommend these. The Way of the River by Shane L. Spyker. The author reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in reading and reviewing this one too, and I said yeah. For someone that doesn't like the circus and is protective of animals, this was amazing for me. Like, this author feels the same way, and it shows. Life is perfect for 15-year-old Eleanor Walton, for the most part. Anxious by nature, she is content living a secure, sheltered life at Kellendale, a quiet country estate isolated from many of life's problems. And I love this estate too. It's so amazing. Set 100 years ago in the country of Eldmore, the estate also happens to sit on the edge of a vast forest. Known as Witch's Wood to some, it has a centuries-old reputation of being haunted. No one has dared to enter it for the last 200 years, and Eleanor and her precocious, easily bored younger sister Tilly have been strictly forbidden from going near it, a fact that drives Tilly mad. This all changes when they witness a man dropping a mysterious parcel into the river within their property. Despite Eleanor's initial reluctance, Tilly, curious and relentlessly persistent, persuades Eleanor to go searching for it with her, taking them deep into the woods. There they discover an abandoned puppy with an extraordinary ability, setting them off on a dangerous rescue mission. In order to help Henry find his canine family, Eleanor is forced to confront her deepest fears as she, Tilly, and their allies are pitted against a greedy and unscrupulous showman. Over time, they unravel the circumstances surrounding his abandonment, discovering what links their family to the forest, and the forest to Henry's own traumatic past. Together they set out to achieve what seems impossible, ultimately revealing the truth of the legendary enchanted woods and the mystic river that flows through it. This was so intriguing and engrossing and all the good stuff. Like this, the woods, the backstory of their family in the woods, where Henry the dog came from, and his backstory, what happened to him, the adventure they go on. It's all so great. I really love this book. And the magic system in here, it's just all so intriguing and fascinating. Like, it's so creative and unique. There are some things that were hard for me to read, but it doesn't end to where I regret reading it. Like, it didn't end sad. So, but it just shows the truth of these places, even 100 years ago when it's set. So, and why they're bad and why they're shutting them down. So, I just really recommend this, and I really loved it. And these kids are so great. And then their cousins come in. Like, it's just amazing. I love a good group of kids on an adventure. And this dog, Henry, has my heart. I love him. That is an amazing dog. And highly recommend. Then we have The Shrouded Sword by Owen R. Minter. I really love this, and I wish the next book would come out because I really want to continue back in this world. The author had reached out and asked if I would read and review this one too, and I said yes. It's because it sounded great, and it really was. Ethan and Jinx Mosby can't help but dread spending Christmas break with their estranged uncle Socrates Maupin, who is just as strange as and mysterious as his mansion. Little do they know he's actually the legendary wizard Merlin, living under an alias in present-day Deadmore, Virginia. Why does their uncle not have one working TV in his massive mansion? Is he really a spy like the locals claim? And what is causing the unusual occurrences within the old house's walls? But when Ethan hears a peculiar voice after discovering a maze on his uncle's property, he knows he can't leave without solving the voice's cryptic message. Seek the light to reveal the shrouded treasure, for the sake of the trust. With the help of Jinx and a young local genius named Amos Front, Ethan must crack riddles and ciphers to locate an enchanted painting that could lead to one of the greatest treasures of all time. This treasure could control the fate of the world with its magic. But can Ethan, Jinx, and Amos find the wit, strength, and bravery they need to reach the treasure before it falls into the wrong hands? Christmas time. Perfect for coming up. Merlin, this magic, this mystery. This mansion is so great. Their uncle. Again, the backstory, the things they find, and the paintings, the maze, and then the evil forces that want to stop. Like, it's just so great. I cannot wait for the next book. Highly recommend. Michael Shane Leighton is the author, and it's Cooper B. and the Scavenger Hunt. I haven't seen anything about the next book, but I wish I would because I really want to get back into this. It's school setting and adventure and mystery, all things I love. It says an 11-year-old orphan never realized just how special he was until he traveled to a distant world and discovered he possessed an extraordinary ability known as the Guild. Cooper B. spent his entire childhood moving from one orphanage to another until his peculiar caseworker, Miss Pettigrew, dropped him off at St. Mary's Academy for Exceptional Youth. There he met his two best friends, and together they embarked on grand adventures to help them escape from the reality of being the forgotten ones. Everything has seemed perfectly normal until they meet a quirky, pink-haired girl from another world. That chance meeting would take them on a new adventure, unlike anything they could have ever imagined. And together they would journey to a faraway land in search of Cooper B's true identity. But what they learn will change their lives forever, and Cooper B will find himself in grave danger because the truth was never to be known. This world was so fascinating. This friend group, I just really love this, and I really want more. So hopefully there will be more soon. So that's another one that's just such a great book. We have the Ben Archer series. This is book 1. This is book 2. I could totally see this being a TV series. I flew through these books. There's so much danger and adventure and suspense and mystery. A boy with an alien power. The thing is, it wasn't meteors that fell into the woods that night. It was alien spacecraft. When UFOs crashed near a peaceful town, the media are led to believe it was fallen meteors. Government agents rushed in to cover up the event dubbed the Cosmic Fall. But they weren't counting on Ben Archer being a witness, nor were they expecting a lone survivor of the crash, an alien man called Mesmo. Thus begins the hunt to capture the boy and the alien, as among the agents hides Mesmo's treacherous enemy who quietly spurs on the investigation. And although the destinies of boy and alien become inextricably linked, one question hovers above their unlikely friendship. Why did the aliens come to Earth in the first place? Mesmo is amazing. He has my heart. And his mom and the dog. The dog has my heart and Mesmo has my heart. Ben's such a great character. The whole backstory of the aliens, what happens during the cosmic fall, and then the dangerous adventure they then have to go. I love them and I highly recommend them, and I cannot wait to get to the 3rd book. And these are by Rae Knightly. We have Grace's Ghost. It's a little bit shorter, but still great. Stephanie Wilson Peterson. 12-year-old Grace and her feline best friend Midnight have a secret. Midnight is a ghost. But then again, so are the rest of Grace's friends. Since she's the only person in hundreds of years with the ability to see them, the many ghosts of Tansy have flocked to Grace since birth. She doesn't mind. She prefers the company of the dead to that of the cliquey kids at school. Grace is happy with her strange life, until one day, the ghosts tell her about the secret her town has hidden for centuries. There's a reason there are more ghosts than living people in Tansy. 300 years ago, a lonely witch cast a spell that mistakenly trapped the soul of every person to ever set foot in the tiny town. So when the spirits beg her to find a way to break the curse, Grace is eager to help. As she searches for answers, Grace makes discoveries about the secret her family hid for generations and a world of magic hidden in her own backyard. Grace soon realizes that if she succeeds in breaking the curse, she'll lose Midnight and all of her gross friends. But if she fails, everyone living in Tansy will face the same fate. Can Grace break the curse before it's too late? Midnight the cat, all the ghosts, the backstory of the town and her family and what she finds out and uncovers and what she has to do to help them. And if I'm not, it's been a while since I've read this one, but if I'm not mistaken, if she doesn't help them, they start to fade anyway. So it's just so sad for them. The journey she goes on just to figure everything out and what to do. It's just so intriguing and so creative. And I just really loved it. And it's another great one for spooky season. We have Millie's Encounter with the Parallel World by Kerry Taylor. And I absolutely loved it. I know she's working on the 2nd one now. I know she released the cover reveal not long ago, so I cannot wait for that to come out. Millie Shepherd is going through a difficult time. She has just started her 2nd year at Farnhall Academy, and it hasn't gotten off to a good start. Since her best friend Oliver moved schools, 3 girls make her time there unbearable. Things at home aren't much better for Millie either. Her parents treat her as though she might break at any moment, and since her older sister Carla turned 15, they no longer get along. Millie was beginning to feel defeated until one night her world is turned upside down when she steps out of her bedroom to find the air filled with hovering golden glitter. She follows the glittering trail through the house and out into her back garden, where she discovers a concealed portal to a parallel world. Sensing danger, she wants to turn back, but curiosity gets the better of her. She crawls through the portal and finds herself in an enchanted forest where she encounters a terrifying beast. The next morning, she is convinced that it has all been a dream, but she can't shake the feeling outweighing her logic that it has been real. Reoccurring nightmares and the fear in the pit of her stomach tell her to be cautious. But in her need for escape and adventure, she ignores her better judgment in her search for an alternate reality. A lot of relatable things going on, like the bullying at school, her best friend changing schools, her older sister reaching a certain age and changing towards her and being moody. Then you have the magic and the alternate world and the backstory of that world in which she uncovers and finds out, the danger. It's just so magical, and just, I really love this. And her best friend, it's just such a good dynamic between them, and I really love them together. And all the people we meet, something her sister's doing, I was very intrigued by that, what she had going on. Just love this so much. And the ending was amazing. So many twists, and I loved it. Cannot wait for the next book. Then we have Ancora, The Fog Banshee's Curse by Miriam Pittman. This one's kind of funny because I had ordered this, and like the day after I ordered it, the author reached out and asked if she could send me a copy. And I was like, that's awesome for you to ask, but I already ordered it. So that was funny. And I absolutely love this book. Kate Harper has not had a real adventure since she jumped off the roof of her house on her 10th birthday. Well, when Kat and her sisters, Lulabelle and Rosie, stumble into a magical land called Ancora, all kinds of adventures await them. The Harpers quickly learn, though, that this new world holds many dangers. A demon monster, the Fog Banshee, is terrorizing one of Ancora's 8 provinces, while a dark sorcerer known as Spellbinder watches from the shadows. What's more, Kate and her sisters may be the only ones who can stop them. With the help of 2 friends, a former chicken owner and a possible chicken thief, the Harpers must rely on wits, determination, and a great deal of rule-breaking to unmask the Spellbinder and free the province from the Fog Banshee's lethal clutches. But who can they trust, and who is the traitor in their minds? And there's eccentric characters, the way they stumble into this world, and the Fog Banshee is such a, everything's so unique and creative. It's atmospheric. The chicken thief and the chicken on, like the characters they meet and become friends with in this province. And there's 8 provinces, so I'm assuming we're going to see even more of this world, which I cannot wait for because I'm already so intrigued by what we have seen. I can't wait to see more. So much danger and adventure, and the sibling relationship's great, the friendships they make, like I said, and everything we learn. I just love it, and I cannot wait for more. Then we have The Splendid Secrets of 66 Lily Pilly Lane by Elena Paige. I know there's going to be more, and I can't wait. 12-year-old Chia is blind and toils in the mines digging up diamonds for her evil stepmother, Priscilla. Her only thought is to rescue her twin sister, Viola, from a life at the palace. Everything changes when a mysterious woman transports Chia to 66 Lily Pilly Lane, a magical house where wondrous creatures live. To her delight, she's no longer blind. With an entourage at her side and magic at her fingertips, it's time to rescue Viola from Priscilla's clutches and start a new life elsewhere. The trouble is, her new friends claim Viola is not as innocent and helpless as she seems. This magical house, all the characters that live there, the sister, stepmother, which I rolled my eyes at, but because it's a stepmother thing, the evil stepmother, but it goes with this kind of story. Everything we learn about the stepmother and the sister in this world, like all of it. It's just, I just loved it, and I cannot wait for more. And we have The Crimson Knights by M.A. Torres. I know he's working on the 3rd book now, and it's about to come out, I believe, and I cannot wait because I really love these books. Kevin Martinez is a normal middle school nerd. He's smart, he's bullied, and he's got a crush on a girl who is way out of his league. He and his friends are experts at Fortnite and Dungeons and Dragons and have just recruited a brand new member to their group. Halloween night had been good. Kevin's crush had joined them for trick-or-treating, and they had scored tons of candy. The fun soon ends, however, when they are cornered and bullied into entering their infamous house on Crimson Street, an abandoned house whose previous owners disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Inside, Kevin and his bully tormentor, the vicious Xander Jeffers, are transported into the world of Erethiel, a beautiful but besieged medieval land in the midst of war. Leading the carnage is a cloaked horseman named Raven, who controls an army of dark warriors who transform their victims into petrified wood-like zombies. But Deathrail has hope in the form of a mysterious young knight named Jay, who wields a flaming sword and befriends Kevin and his friends. Soon the evils from Deathrail began to spill over into Kevin's hometown. Along with his friends, Kevin must race to solve the mystery of the Crimson House and assist Jay in Deathrail's defense. But when the chosen one turns out to be anything but, the friends are left with more questions than answers, and the fate of an entire kingdom riding on their shoulders. The friends in here, amazing. I love their little nerdy friend group. They're so great, and the crush that he has, I love her. She's amazing. This abandoned house on the Crimson Street, Halloween, in the alternate world, the bullying, relatable stuff, what these kids have to deal with. It's full of action. The humor is great, and there's so much mystery going on, and the things they learn and uncover as it unfolds. It's just so intriguing and fascinating. And everything that happens to the kids and what they obtain when they go back to the world, and when it's spilling into our world, what happens. And the 2nd book is just as great. I'm just in love with these, and I cannot wait for that 3rd book. We have Max and the Spice Thieves, Book 1, Secrets of the Twilight Gin by John Peregrine. He's gonna send me the 2nd one soon, which will be coming out soon, and I can't wait to dive back into this. When his mother goes missing, Max Daybreaker's world is turned upside down. Luckily, a crew of spice thieves led by the mysterious Captain Sin help Max on his dangerous mission across the 3 seas. Along the way, an unlikely alliance aids in his search: a teenage warrior queen, a three-eyed seer, and an assassin spy. Their journey takes them through treacherous lands while facing shape-shifting bears, an ancient witch, harpies, and the nightmarish Shan, who will stop at nothing to enslave the world. With every new challenge, Max unlocks the secret of his unsettling past. Powers awaken him within, forcing him to question everything he knows. Is Max who he thinks he is? Only time and destiny will tell. There's so much in here. Max's father, what we don't know about him, and where he is, and then his mom goes missing, and then these pirates, and then the harpies, the djinn, and then he has these friends like the three-eyed seer, and the assassin spy, and the teenage warrior. Like, they're all so great. He forms this found family in a way of his own when he can't be with his. And Captain Sin he's so funny, and I loved him. So I really recommend these, and I cannot wait to read that second book. It's full of danger, adventure, magic, witches, pirates, harpies, everything, friendship. I really love this, and I can't wait for the next. Alessia and Atlantis, The Forbidden Vial. So I think it's book 1. And this is by Natalia Lane. It's not unusual for 12-year-old Alicia to lose control of her emotions and create a scene at school. It is unusual when one day she's attacked there by a giant frog monster and plunged into the underwater realm of Atlantis in an overturned boat. On arriving in Atlantis, she learns that her long-lost father may have been from there. Determined to investigate, she stays and enrolls in Atlantide School, the Octopus's Garden. But uncovering the truth is not easy when the tyrannical Atlantide Emperor forbids asking about missing people. With the help of her newfound school friends, Alessia will have to steal evidence from a grumpy teacher, escape from rebel merfolk, and make rhymes with menacing blue people of Minch to discover the key to her past. Meanwhile, someone knows exactly who she's the daughter of and is ready to kill her for it. So fast-paced. Paige Turner, friendship, adventure, danger, mystery, very atmospheric. I love books I'm noticing about Atlantis or underwater. It's just also intriguing to me. And then everything we learn and find out, loved it. I cannot wait for the next book. The Marvelous Adventures of Gwendolyn Gray by B.A. Williamson. This is the first book. And the second book. This is right when I was discovering how much I love steampunk. And these are amazing. They're like favorites. They're so good. I haven't seen him say anything about more, so I don't know, but I really hope he gets the time to write more. I can say upper middle grade for sure. Gwendolyn Gray faces an overwhelming battle every day, keeping her imagination under control. It's a struggle for a dreamer like Gwendolyn. In a city of identical gray skyscrapers, clouds that never clear, and grown-ups who never understand. But when her daydreams come alive and run amok in the city, the struggle to control them becomes as real as the furry creatures infesting her bedroom. Worse yet, she has drawn the attention of the faceless gentlemen who want to preserve order in the city by erasing Gwendolyn and her troublesome creations. With the help of 2 explorers from another world, Gwendolyn escapes and finds herself in a land of clockwork inventions and colorful creations. Now Gwendolyn must harness her powers and with a gang of airship pirates stop the faceless gentlemen from destroying the new world she loves and the home that never wanted her before every world becomes gray and dull. It's whimsical across several worlds. There's space pirates, magic, there's a creepy nemesis, there's gadgets like steampunk style. It's so original and creative and unique and fascinating. A new take on power of imagination can be and what it can do and how important imagination is. Without it, you'd live in a gray world. So I really love these and I really hope there will be more. I really need more. I love these so much. And last one of my all-time favorite books ever is The Blameless by E.S. Christensen, book 1. I know she's working on book 2 now and I really need it. Brianna, Princess of Predonia, has lived a happy and sheltered life. Then, in a single night, her father's kingdom is overthrown, her family is murdered, and centuries of peace are violently shattered. Fleeing for her life, Bree is rescued by Flinton, Derek, and Cove, 3 powerful protectors who take her under their wing and bring her to their secret stronghold deep in the mountains. There, Bree learns about the Blameless, people who receive magical gifts from the gods after performing acts of unparalleled selflessness. Among the Blameless, Bree discovers an amazing new world, gaining witty and resourceful companions as she strives to master the mysterious power within her. She determines to seek justice for her family, and one day to take back her people's freedom. It's so magical. The characters are so good and so lovable. I love them. Him right there, love him. They're funny and so great too, but he has my heart. She is such a great main character, Brianna. The whole backstory of her family, the villain and the Blameless themselves and what they are, what they do. It's just so fascinating. I loved everything about this. It's so engrossing. And her uncles, oh, it's just so heartwarming. The story, the characters, everything. I love it and I need more. I cannot wait for book 2. So yes. Alright, that's all for today. That's all the middle grade indie books I wanted to share this time. I hope you found some that sounded good and you might want to try out for yourself. And try to remember that independently published books can be just as great as traditionally published, if not better sometimes. So I'm glad I found that out, and I found some amazing books because of that. And I highly recommend these, and I hope you'll subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!